Alright, hello and welcome back to my channel. The last 2 weeks have been really emotional for me because after posting those 2 videos on my pregnancy story and my labor and birth story, a lot of you have taken the time to write me a message or a comment telling me how you resonated with the videos. It was great to see that I was able to communicate exactly that quote raw human emotion, as one of my friends put it. If you left a comment under the video, thank you. As a small channel on YouTube, it does help a lot. If you're considering leaving another comment, I would really appreciate it. In this video, I'm going to dive deeper into the details of exactly what happened after I gave birth. There was a series of events that happened, some that we were prepared for, some that we couldn't have anticipated. Please bear in mind that obviously I am sharing the experience as it happened to me in an NHS hospital in the UK. So I just gave birth to my baby. As you saw in that video, she was immediately put on my chest and we did what's called skin to skin, which is really great for both mom and baby to regulate their temperature, their heartbeat. It's a really wonderful thing to experience. We actually didn't know what the sex of our child was going to be. I was so exhausted by the time she had come out that I forgot to ask. My husband sort of looked and checked and said, "It's a girl, I think it's a girl, but let me see again." They didn't take her to wipe her or clean her or anything like that. They put her on my chest. You may have noticed that she was covered in a white substance, creamy substance called vernix. The vernix is actually basically nature's moisturizer, and it is recommended to not wash your baby for quite a while after they are here. The first time we gave her a bath was maybe a month. Obviously you wipe your baby and change their diaper, but there's no need to dunk them in water and soap them. That vernix, the more it sinks into the skin, the better it is for their skin. I had learned in the baby class that as soon as baby comes out, it's really important to notice any signs of them being hungry. They would typically do something like this. So when you see that, it's really key to immediately offer the breast for a feed. I had absolutely no idea what breastfeeding entailed. All I knew was this YouTube animation of a boob being placed in the mouth of a baby. As soon as I saw her moving her lips, I immediately put her on my breast and she latched on fine, and the midwives were very surprised that she's eating so well. But why this is really important is because it releases a certain hormone in your body called oxytocin, and once that oxytocin is released, it sends a message to the placenta: "Thank you so much for your service. It's time for you to come out, placenta." I just got that intense cramp feeling again and a desire to push as if I was taking a poo, and the placenta just came out, and it's a beautiful organ. I'm going to post a photo of it. Looking at it, I thought it was glistening. It was just so beautiful. I mean, it is the most important organ that helps to nourish your babies. They placed this placenta on a tray, they showed it to us and asked us if we wanted to keep it. It might sound a bit surprising to some of you, because it was surprising to me when I knew that you could do things with it. They can give it to you at home in a freezer bag and you can put it in your fridge. And there's 3 options you could do with it. So the first one is you can freeze it and make smoothies out of it. The second one is you can dry it up and turn it into tablets that obviously the mother can take. The third thing is you could bury it very deep underground so the foxes don't get to it, and you can plant a tree on top of it. These options are a little bit out there. You know, if you aren't more interested, you can Google it after you watch my video. We wanted to take it and we were going to decide later what we were going to do with it, but unfortunately we forgot it in the hospital. We said we were going to come back for it and we didn't. We forgot it, so it's been destroyed. Now, what happens to the umbilical cord, you might ask? Here they give you the option if you want your birthing partner to cut the umbilical cord, and I think this is amazing. Garrett really wanted to be involved in this and to cut the cord. It was probably 50 minutes to an hour that we were connected, and you know, it used to be the case, and I think it was the case with my own mother, that they tend to cut the cord pretty quickly after the baby comes out. But actually recent research and studies are showing that there are benefits in leaving the child connected to the mother for quite a while after the baby comes out. And the reason for that is that there's a lot of cells and a lot of blood flow that still goes through the cord after the baby comes out, and those are precious cells that are being given to the baby. Another option is you can freeze the umbilical cord and actually collect stem cells from that cord for future use should the baby need them in the future, if they have. Oh, my baby is crying.
A few minutes later.
Well, baby just woke up from her nap and she was a bit upset. So I'm going to have to film as much as I can with her. We were connected for a while through the umbilical cord. As I was saying, there is a very, very precious influx of blood cells from the cord to baby. That actually replaces what some of you may have heard around collecting stem cells. So there is a hi sweetness. Hi. Before we cut it, we took care of the tearing. As you saw, I avoided the big cut of the perineum, the episiotomy. But I still had some superficial tearing, which could have probably, yes, which could have probably healed on its own. But I think that some stitches just helped the healing process. All right, let's see if you want to play here for a little bit. Trusty elephant. Okay, while we were connected, the midwife stitched me up, offered me a local anesthetic. The stitching didn't take long. After that, they offered to cut the cord. This is where Garrett got involved. So they clamped it with 2 surgical scissors on each end. They offered him a pair of scissors to cut it, and when he did that, he actually told me that the texture of the umbilical cord is quite, quote, gristly.
Yeah, ready?
Yep.
Wow.
So after she stitched me up, they brought us some orange juice and a piece of toast, and everyone keeps saying this, but that is the most delicious piece of toast you ever eat in your entire life. The nurse told us to press this button if we needed any help. Looking at me. She's on my chest and then I see something coming out of her butt. I think that it's blood. I was scared obviously, and I asked Garrett to immediately press the button, and I will never forget in that moment with the pride of a father who read parenting books before giving birth. He looked at me calmly, put a hand on my shoulder and said, "Sweetie, that's the meconium." The meconium is the first poop the baby ever does. It's very, very dark green, and it contains everything that's in their gut that is from when they were in your belly. Actually, yes, it's actually the purest form of poo ever. Comes out in this almost like chocolate fudge cake consistency. If you smear it, it's really, really sticky. But if you just leave it like that in a clump, I just put my hand under it and then picked it up and then put it on a napkin, and that was it. It was just amazing that I had experienced that. And again, it was one of those things that I had read about it and heard about it in baby classes, but until it actually happens, you know, you're not prepared for it. After about an hour of skin to skin, the midwife comes in the room and asks me if I want to take a shower or a bath. The thought of being in a shower felt like too much effort for me, so I said, yes, sure, I'll take a bath. I remember just gingerly stepping out of the bed, picking up a towel and a change of underwear and the huge pads. These pads were really important to have because you do bleed quite a bit after giving birth. And going in the bathroom to take a bath. I left our baby with Garrett. This was their opportunity to have skin to skin. This was really important for us that they get their own chance to connect and to bond. They had their own skin to skin moment, which was so emotional and so lovely. He placed her on his chest and they spent some time cuddling. Going into the bath, I remember walking very, very slowly, reacquainting myself with how my body was feeling. In the bathroom, they had prepared a paper cup to pee in. And this is the one thing they ask you to try and do just to check that everything's working properly. I remember I wanted to pee immediately after I got in the bathroom, and it didn't sting or anything, it didn't hurt. Again, that was one of those first worries, you know, when you have your first pee after giving birth or your first poo, you think it's gonna hurt a lot, but it didn't hurt. Really, I don't remember it hurting. I slowly made my way into the bath water and it felt so relaxing. And I do remember looking at my body and my belly, and I couldn't believe that the baby was no longer inside. I remember saying, "Thank you, body, for your wonder. Thank you, body, for your wonder." What I had gone through felt so wonderful and out of this world. The fact that my body was able to do that for me was incredible. And I got into the room and started packing our stuff because they do want you to, when you're comfortable and ready to leave the room for the next mom to come in, they move you to the postnatal ward where you have a bed waiting for you in a room with other moms that have just given birth. It's a big room with about 6 beds in it. Arriving at the postnatal ward, again, this was now about 5 a.m, 5:30 a.m. The midwives came to say congratulations again, and I remember we took a photo, and then all was left to do was just to enjoy being with baby. I was so hungry, so I went to the kitchen, had more orange juice and more toast, which tasted delicious, even though it was so simple, but it tasted so good. At that point, I wasn't feeling too tired. I think my hormones and my body was just so awake. The most exhausted out of the two of us was actually my husband, and he took the hospital bed that was supposed to be for me, and he slept for an hour. I think it was about 7 that I crashed, so I slept for a little bit. I feel so great, so relaxed, so happy, and a bundle of joy. We're doing some skin to skin, and baby's been eating. Our little peanut is eating and very, very happy.
Hey, mommy.
Hello.
How are you doing?
I feel great.
Yeah. Seeing the baby nursing.
Look at that.
This is her third nursing.
Look at that.
She's been busy.
Busy, busy, busy.
So cute.
What happened in the hospital was a series of checks that they had to do for baby in terms of checking her body, her hearing, her sight, weighing her. We did a TB vaccine, a bunch of check-ins with us to make sure that I was feeling fine, that she was breastfeeding okay. So there was a lot of support there for us, and everything was really, really good that they discharged us that same day. So we left the hospital on the 19th of December at about 6 p.m. Surreal. I was happy to go home. The hospital was lovely, but you know, you just want to be in your own home, in your own bed. It was raining when we came out, and the midwife helped me to pack and to exit the hospital. We had rented a car, put her in this car seat that we had bought, snuggled up. There she was. And just, I remember driving home. It felt so strange. I mean, you suddenly have this person in the back of your car. You're carrying the most precious cargo, and coming home just felt really surreal. I know a lot of people talk about that kind of instant gush and rush of love that just washes over you and you kind of forget about everything else, but it didn't really feel like that. Of course, I was happy that she was healthy and felt all those hormones kicking in to release that happiness in the moment, but it took a while to genuinely be conscious of what had happened and of the huge shift and change that was taking place in our lives. I think it was that first night that we were home with her. It was just, for lack of a better word, a show, in the sense of she was crying, I was breastfeeding, we didn't really know what we were doing. There was a moment of total panic, and you realize your life changed completely.
Baby's first sleep at home.
We're at home. Just doing some skin to skin.
I want some of that.
Just real. It's just real. I think it happens to all parents. I don't know, let me know if it happened to you, but for us it was just kind of a panic moment, mixed. It was so many mixed emotions, so many mixed feelings. Yes. But look where we are. 6 months later, we have a happy, healthy girl, and she is she's so wonderful. So curious. She's so curious. So that's it. That's the story of what exactly happens after giving birth. Thanks so much for watching. Let me know if you found this equally interesting and if you resonated. Tell me if you had different experiences. You know, did you stay in hospital for longer, and did you yes. I think it's time. Is that time for us to go? I think it's time for us to go. Thanks for hanging out with us, and I will catch you next week. I hope you have a fantastic week. Bye.